some of you may have seen these videos floating around on the internet where I rented a McLaren for a day, and I wanted to kind of give some context and discuss the thoughts behind doing that. Now, there's a few things out there. For one, Dave, me, has always been a car guy. I had an S2000, I've had a couple other junky cars, I had a Harley. I sold the S2000 like 3 years ago and made a video about selling it when I did, where I said, hey, look, I'm selling this, I'm buying a duplex. Eventually, I'm going to roll that money enough to where I can buy a really nice car, right? Maybe a Porsche 911 GT3 RS or a Ferrari F8 Tributo or whatever that may be, right? Something fun, like a driver's car where I can take it to the track and just beat the crap out of it and hug some corners and all of that. And so I sold that car with the intent of buying a nicer one. So, like, all of that to preface, I have been doing a little bit of research on what kind of car. So I drove my buddy Ryan's Ferrari 488 GTB. I rented this McLaren, the 570S. Haven't driven a Lamborghini yet, but, kind of shopping around, right? So part of it was I wanted to feel how the McLaren was comparatively to the Ferrari, and I'll tell you that I preferred the Ferrari 488 GTB over the McLaren 570S any day. Both awesome cars, but just different styles and yada yada. The other reason is that ultimately I'm a marketing guy. I'm not really I don't have like a degree in marketing. I just do a lot of content marketing. And I thought in my head that videos of me driving a McLaren, standing in front of a McLaren, whatever, would probably garner a little bit more, likes and comments and views. And honestly, they did garner more views. Not quite as much as I thought, but most of those videos averaged 20, 30,000 views, whereas I'm normally averaging like 3,000 to 5,000. I've had a couple of videos go viral, but, I would say the average for those videos is above the average for my normal videos, aside from the 2 or 3 that have gone like viral on like TikTok and Instagram. And even YouTube, I guess. More importantly, you guys know how I feel about gurus, like the guys who just like lean up against a Ferrari and try to sell you their course. And a lot of times those cars are rented or borrowed, or it's a friend's car, and they don't mention that, right? They're just a prop for their videos, and it is what it is. They're not all like Ryan Dossi, my buddy, who actually has the Ferrari, and he's a car guy, got into real estate for cars, and he owned a Viper, and now he owns a Ferrari, and he's kind of working his way up. They are like complete frauds who just think, hey, if I have this car, people will buy my course, right? And I'll tell you that there is some legitimacy to that, unfortunately. Like Ryan has, I'm sure, probably made some more sales because of the car, but he didn't buy the car for that reason, right? He bought the car because he's a car guy, and people just think, oh man, he's got one. He's got to be worth listening to. But some of these guys, they play the game, they rent the car, they whatever, just to sell the course. And so I don't like the whole guru thing, even though I'm wearing a shirt that says Video Guru from FinCon for volunteering. And so I wanted to make some content making fun of it. So I made videos that were literally like, last month I lived under that bridge, and then I read this book, which I wrote. And now 30 days later, I own a McLaren, I'm a millionaire. So buy my course, Bridge to Billionaire, for clearly fake. Now, I probably should have made the videos a little bit more satirical because I didn't go over the top enough. Some people thought some of them were legit. Some people thought I sold out. I guess it is what it is. Kind of hurtful when people who are close think that and like have it set in their minds. They like whatever. But it is what it is. You got to roll with the punches. Nobody's going to like all your stuff, right? And I should probably be more polarizing. I need to get out of my comfort zone a little more and become a little bit more polarizing to really start to grow, right? Some of the bigger celebrities out there are pretty polarizing. So, not the celebrities like movie stars, but celebrities with like people who actually built their own, reputation and became famous, not from anyway, whatever. So, I rented this car for a few reasons. One, it's just fun to rent a McLaren. I got 100 miles. It cost me like $800, taxes, fees, whatever. It's like $1,000 plus gas, whatever. So it was like 100 miles, and I got to rip it up and down the highway and drive around. It was fun. It was really fun. So that's one reason. It was a lot of fun. Two, because it's a marketing prop for a bunch of videos, it was a tax write-off. So it was a digital, like a marketing expense. So it didn't cost me the full $1,000. It'll end up costing me like $600 or $700, depending on my tax rate, maybe $800. I don't know. Still not great, but a little cheaper. Whatever. Deduction, expense, blah. 3, I thought the Guru videos were going to do a lot better than they actually did, which is what it is, but they did grow. Like, they did okay. I did get some good feedback. I did get some good responses. And then 4, and this was just kind of a subconscious woo, I thought it'd be hilarious to pick up my DD214, like to get my document the day you leave the military, in a McLaren. And ironically, it was pretty funny because I actually ran into a guy who I used to work with, a major, who saw me walking out with my DD214 and get in the McLaren, which is, pretty funny, pretty almost somewhat satisfying in a weird way, because it's like, haha, I made it, even though it's obviously fake. So I get why people get those cars, like they're fun, but also people are like, wow. I totally drove it through the parking lot where I used to work, right in front of the building, in front of all the windows, and revved it up and made sure people saw me walking into the building out of the car. And I got a ton of feedback from that. So that was hilarious. I didn't let any of them know that it was rented until like the next time I was in town or later that day. So pretty funny. But ultimately, those videos missed the mark. They didn't go as viral as I thought they would. They did okay, but they weren't amazing. And so, it's kind of a bummer to see that, because I was hoping they would do a little bit better. But it is what it is. It was $1,000. Try something new, see what happens. They missed the mark because they didn't get quite as many views as I thought, and some people thought they were like serious and thought I'd like sold out. So it's a bummer. But it is what it is, so I need to really double down next time and really get serious about going overly satirical, like just overplay it if I'm going to do something like that. Or maybe I just stick to the education side and don't do as much of the entertainment side. But it is what it is. That's why I rented the McLaren.